I want to begin tonight with your husband, who I know now is out of the hospital, and one of the good stories about recovering from the coronavirus.
He is. He's doing so much better. And I will say, after going through that myself and our family and not being able to be by his side and waiting 6 days for the test, like so many Americans right now, and you think about those that are in the hospital, can't be with their loved ones, some of them tragically dying alone or with just the nurses and doctors there. And then you think about that nurse in Wisconsin who's there on the front line and simply wanted to go and vote, exercise her right to vote. And she couldn't because she was being the hero. And so I think all of this is tied in, Lawrence, because this administration didn't plan for this pandemic when they could have. And your last guests, Dr. Jha and Ron Klain, just explained that. They didn't plan. They didn't get the testing underway. And now we are not going to let them take this democracy away from us. And that's why we are leading the way in the Senate and working with Republican and Democratic Secretary of States across the country to make sure that we extend vote at home, vote by mail to every American, and also make sure that these polls are open early, 20 days early in November in states across the country, so people have more of a chance to go to the polls without congregating in the same place. There's so much we can do, and all I can think of when I heard that nurse is of the president sitting in the White House. You know what he did? He just ordered his vote by mail ballot and absentee ballot from Palm Beach, Florida. So he and his wife get to vote that way while she's doing her work on the front line and is then not allowed to vote. No one in America is going to tolerate this.
It's Nurse Renee Bacon, and I just want to say her name one more time because she put in a heroic day's work, and then she volunteered for what was another heroic act yesterday in Wisconsin, which was voting, which was trying to get in that line to vote, and she was denied that opportunity. Senator, what do you think are the possibilities with Republicans? The President Trump saying today, hey, mail-in voting, getting an accurate vote from people, that's not helpful to Republicans. Basically said, we can't win if you make it easy for people to vote.
First of all, when you look, Lawrence, at the states that have the mail-in ballots, they're blue states, they're red states, they're purple states. Utah has a high percentage of people voting by mail. Arizona, Nevada, and then states like Colorado, Oregon. Then you have states that make it really hard to do that, and you have to have two witnesses or a notary sign something. So it really runs the gamut. That's why Senator Wyden and I, in our bill that we're leading in the Senate, which was the one taken up by the House and Speaker Pelosi, what that does is says, let's remove those barriers. Let's make it so people can vote early if they want to vote in person at the polls. Let's make it so we train a new generation of poll workers. And then also let's extend with postage, with envelopes, this mail-in ballot possibility to everyone. And I will say, as far as the funding of this, we got $400 million in the first major bill, but we have to do a lot more. And as the Republican Secretary of State in Iowa said, we need this funding yesterday. So unlike what the president is telling the country, there are Republican elected officials and Republican Secretary of States who believe that we should have a right to vote. And the president can explain why senior citizens, veterans of war, why we should say to them, sorry, you can't vote because you'd be risking your life because you're in a vulnerable population. No one is going to tolerate that.